Hello, we're here in East London in the Classic Football Shirt shop with two legends of the game, and luckily we have some fabulous shirts here that correspond with your careers, your actual shirts. So we're going to relive some of the biggest moments in both of your careers.
Brilliant.
See, A, if you remember them.
Well, that could be the biggest test.
Couldn't it?
All right,
Goes back a long time.
yes. Oh, no need for that. But
I'm at me.
And B, exactly what those memories are. So David Seaman, we're going to start with you because this shirt here is your debut shirt. So this is
Wow.
88. Tell us a little bit about that game.
Saudi Arabia away.
Yeah.
last time I had to get my television engineer out. I have my pictures of that. That's unbelievable.
They don't get any better either.
Do not adjust your screen right enough.
So now we move on to Euro 96.
Yeah.
And English fans will have lots of fabulous memories from this tournament. Scotland fans perhaps not so much. We take this shirt out, David, an iconic shirt. And we go back onto this theme of mad designs. That They must have just looked at you and thought, he deserves a shirt like that.
I know. And I got yellow shorts and yellow socks.
It's
Like a
amazing.
banana.
You really did, didn't you?
It's gone off.
When you see that shirt, a game springs to mind.
Oh, yes.
England against Scotland. So from both your perspectives, tell us about that game.
Well, for us, it was a big game because we'd drawn against Switzerland and we knew we got Scotland next. So it was a tough game for us. And then we went 1-0 up. I think it was Shearer, wasn't it?
Shearer header,
Yeah.
great goal.
And then Tony Adams gave away a penalty. And
Foul on Gordon Jury, I believe, if I remember.
it was a blatant penalty,
Yeah.
no questions. And then, were you supposed to be taking it or something?
Well, Gary, not directly, because our top in the team talk before the game was Gary, myself, or John Collins.
Oh, okay.
We're going to take the penalties. And of course, as legend would have it, Gary hit. And I've got to say, Gary hit it as sweet
Yeah.
as you would like, and it was a wonderful, wonderful save. But I don't know if David remembers. I remember standing on the edge of the 18-yard box to follow the penalty in, and just as Gary went to hit it, honest to goodness, the ball did move. And you remember Uri Geller saying he was up in this hill.
No.
I know,
Yeah.
but I
did.
promise you,
No,
it actually moved just as he went to hit it. Having said that, it was a clean strike. It didn't put him off at all. Great strike of the ball, and it was just a fantastic
He
save.
hit it that fast that, as it was coming. I didn't have time to do that, so I just lifted my elbow.
Yeah,
Looked
fantastic
at it, caught
save.
right on the end of my elbow and shot over the crossbar. And then the other thing
I remember being delighted for you.
Yeah, I bet you were. I remember Tony Adams coming straight into me and he grabbed me and gave me a kiss and he got a proper bristly chin. I was like, ooh.
Love that that's your memory
more.
of that moment.
Exactly.
No more.
That
And then
penalty.
something else happened after that, right
Gas
after.
going, wasn't it?
Well, yeah. Well, before we move on from that penalty, not to
Yeah.
twist the knife anymore, but you do describe that as a real.
I would
moment
say, in all honesty, I don't really have any regrets in the game at all, because I was really, really lucky, Laura, unbelievably lucky, to play at an international level and playing European Championships, playing World Cups, and as I say, playing for the club I supported. But if you pin me down, with hindsight, my biggest regret is probably not taking that penalty. If I had an opportunity to do it again, I'd love to have taken it. But listen, the fact of the matter was, Gary decided to take it. And 9 times out of 10, Gary was a great penalty taker. But
Well, I'd faced him for, I think it was Leeds, so, and I always used to watch him because he was good. He had pace on his penalties. And
you
and
know-
he would change sides as well.
yeah. Am I not right in saying, did you not lose one against Switzerland in the first game?
Yeah.
Was it the centre forward scored at Turkey Omaz?
Yeah, that's right.
Left foot. I remember that because Switzerland had scored against you in a penalty. But as I say, as memory would have it, it was a brilliant save, absolutely brilliant
If
save.
you'd have took it, which side would you go?
I know fine well what I'd have done. And normally when I take my favourite penalty, I would whip with a bit of pace. But for you, for some reason, I wouldn't have. I'd have attempted to put go on your
Down the
left-hand
middle.
side.
Or
No, I'd have went
down
down the
the
left-hand side.
Wow. Would
Yeah.
you have felt differently if it was Ali walking up?
Yeah, because I know that Gary hit it with pace. I wouldn't have known what Ali did. So I would have just took it on his run-up, which is what I used to do.
You try and make this any more painful for me?
No, sorry. I mean, it was painful for me, and I'm English.
I've got his match. This is the one I believe that Gascoigne played in himself. The Holland game, which you won 4-1. But I've actually got the one. I swapped jerseys with him after the game, the 2-0 game at Wembley. And I'll tell you a story. The goal was absolute genius. I mean, fantastic. I mean, still watching, you've got to applaud. Feel sorry for Big Colin Henry, right over his head, and even Andy Gorham, who was a top goalie. I'm sure David agreed. Top goalie. He does him down his bottom right hand side. Celebration. fantastic. What I say, class, celebration, fantastic. But I'll tell you how good that goal was, right? I'll tell you how good it was. It was that good that Gascoigne never mentioned it to us when he came back up to the dressing room, because he knew how good it was. See if it had been a tap-in, see if it had been, say for example, Al Shearer had hit a shot and Gorham had made a save and it broke to Gascoigne 2 yards out, bang, he'd finished like that, he'd have let us know. I honestly believe he'd have given us a bit of stick about it. But the goal that he scored was that good, he never mentioned it, because I wouldn't say he was embarrassed by it, but even he knew how good a goal that was.
He was a little bit different in our dressing room.
When he mentioned it to you lot.
He was like going mad. He was. He couldn't wait to like go and see all you lot.
Oh, excellent. Well, he was humble by the time he got there.
You've got to look at it from Gascoigne's point of view, man. He's coming back up into our dressing room at Rangers, and had the roles been reversed, we'd have pulverised them. We would have. Oh, can you imagine it? This is a really special shirt for me, I've got to say, Laura, because we'd won the title, and I think we went incredible run of games. We went, I'm sure it was 44 games undefeated, Rangers, and that was including the Champions League run, believe it or not. And to get to the Champions League, with to play the English champions at that time, who were Leeds United, and we played them home and away, and we beat them 2-1 at Ibrox, and we managed to beat them 2-1 down at Elland Road as well. And they had a proper team. I mean, the fact they were English champions would indicate they were good. Gordon Strachan, Eric Cantona, David Batty, Gary Speed, God bless him, Gary McAllister.
John Lukic.
Lukic was in goals. Yeah. It was a good team. And one of the stories I remember about this jersey, the first game at Ibrox, there was no travelling fans. And I remember walking down the tunnel at Ibrox and looking across, and the Leeds team were obviously lined up as we were walking down. I looked across, the noise coming out of the stadium, big man, was absolutely incredible. And I looked across at Gary McAllister, David Batty, Gary Speed, and we just looked at each other and we went, this is absolutely unbelievable. The atmosphere was incredible. And we went out, and Leeds went on the attack and got a corner after, I think, 50 seconds. And I don't need to tell you, it got headed out, and I'm meant to be on the edge of the box marking McAllister, right? Well, I'm not. And he hits this volley, David, hits this volley after a minute, and it flies right into Andy Goram's top corner, right? And the noise went from there to nothing, absolutely nothing. And 2 minutes later, right, great story, 2 minutes later, and I knew Gary, I grew up with Gary. Gary and I played in the same under-13, under-14s team as kids. And of course the Bedlam's away again, and I'm ill, right? I'm in it going, I'm meant to be picking him up corners again, and he sticks one at the top corner, and he runs by me, and he pats me in the backside, and he says, what was that for a wee strike then, right? When I was ill, right? But, it's a happy ending to this story, you know. So we go down to Leeds, we go down to Elland Road, and it's the same, we don't have any travelling fans, and as I say, it was brilliant. We got to the game, and kick off when it's 2. We scored a second goal, well, short period to go, and effectively that just kills the tie, because there's no way Leeds are going to score whoever it was 4. So I managed to score a second goal to go put us 2-0 up. Of course the boys are all celebrating. I couldn't wait to see him. McAllister went, oh, what about that for a wee header then, Gary? I think you'll find your tea's now officially out. And Gary was like, he was ill.
So we're going to move this on to 1999, and perhaps a shirt that is a little bit more classy in its style for you.
Obviously, I had a lot of input.
Yeah, exactly. That it is a classy shirt, though, isn't it? It's a lovely shirt. And then compounded with this, Ryan Giggs, 1999 FA Cup semi-final, Arsenal against Manchester.
There's even a hair coming out of here. To be fair to Giggsy, it was a great goal. He shouldn't have got anywhere near me. No. He should have been taken out a lot further out.
Made his way straight through, destroyed Arsenal's defence. 11 minutes to go.
After Dennis Bergkamp missing a penalty.
Missed a penalty, didn't he?
Yeah, it was frustrating for us, but it was brilliant for them, because then that put them onto their treble. Yeah. You know, it put them on the way to that. So, good memories of that shirt, but not so good memories of that one.
What stands out about these two shirts for me is the shirt sponsors. They're so synonymous with that era and those clubs, you know, Sharp and JVC as well.
Yeah.
Do you remember, I mean, shirt sponsors, did they mean anything to you guys as players in the time?
Well,
Do you still
for
look
us
at them?
they did, because every time we won something,
Free things.
we would get a free TV or a free camcorder or something like that as a thank you for wearing the shirt. So that's the way we looked at it.
That was McCoist's lager, so it was a win-win situation. You know?
I was going to ask you your first ones were.
If ever there was an incentive required, McCoist's lager. You know?
Did you ever have a shirt sponsor you were like, oh, I don't really fancy any of their stuff?
No, I've got to say, I mean, we had some good shirt sponsors over the period. We had double glazing people and you name it. But the main one I remember, or one of the first ones I can remember, was McCoist's lager. With a good relationship with him, we used to do a lot of functions and all that stuff. And as I say to you,
You did.
yeah, if you ever in short of a six-pack, there was always one.
Brilliant. And to this day, you're still doing their business.
Exactly.
Brilliant.
That's probably, that is my not famous, but favourite England team.
Moustache,
shirt.
ponytail era,
Ponytail
slick
down
back.
yeah.
Perfect.
Tons of gel on it.
Tons of gel. Really, was it?
Oh,
I thought
yeah.
it was just that shiny naturally. Ruined it. Ruined the illusion there. England against Brazil.
Yeah, and then this guy,
Yeah.
who, did he mean it or did he not?
That's the big question. Because at the time, did you guys know how good he was?
Not really, no. We'd
Was that
heard about it.
2002, was it?
2002 World Cup, yeah. We knew sort of how good he was, but until you see somebody on the pitch, and then you begin to realise how good they are. You know, how quick they are with their passes and their decision making. And he was good, but obviously I don't remember all that.
Of course
I
not.
remember his lucky free kick. And, you know, people said to me, oh, did he mean it? And I said, well, it doesn't matter. He still went in from about 40 yards out, you know, so it's a goalkeeping mistake.
At what moment did you suddenly realise?
I knew that when he crossed it,
Yeah, we'll go with
crossed
that.
it. So I went one way to think, I was going that way. Then I tried to get back the other way, and then I just got caught too square, and I couldn't move either way. And all I remember is I was thinking, please go over the bar, please go over the bar. And I heard it hit the net, and I was like, oh. And it was horrible. And, you know, so like you've let that goal in, it's 2-1 now, second half. And I looked at the clock, and there's still like half an hour left. And I'm thinking, come on, lads, get me out of this. But I also remember thinking, oh no, if this stays at 2-1, am I going to get the same sort of treatment that Beckham got in '98? You know, and so all these thoughts are going through my head while I'm actually still playing. You know, and I was getting like goosebumps, and there was all sorts going on in your head. But you know, it wasn't to be. We went out on that, and
What was the reaction like afterwards?
the reaction was I was a little bit scared. You know, because you don't know how the country are going to treat you when you get back. And we all arrived back at Heathrow. And I remember getting on a coach, and as we drove to the hotel, there was quite a lot of fans there, you know, like hundreds and hundreds of them. And they all started singing my name. And I was like so happy and relieved, if I'm honest, you know, because I think people had realised that I had a good World Cup, but obviously that's going to get remembered. And I didn't get treated as badly as what I thought I was going to get. You know, Tottenham fans loved it, you know, as they do, you know. But, you know, it was just one of those goals that it was a freak goal. You know, and I've seen a few of them.